This video is brought to you by my website, ablmerch.com. You can get all the hats that I wear in the videos, plus t-shirts, hoodies, whatever you want, through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk a little bit more about Ilhan Omar, the very corrupt congresswoman, the woman that said, some people did something, it's all about the measurements, is that, and the third, that same person. Now, we've spoken about the immigration fraud, the tax fraud, the marriage fraud, and the incest coming from her, but now we have even more evidence. Not just all the links that I have to all the websites, left wing, right wing, center, non-political documents. We also have an eyewitness on the ground. This is a man by the name of Abdihakim Osman. He is a friend to Ilhan Omar and her family, and also a friend to friends that they have in the community up there in Minnesota. You know, the Somalis up there, very tight-knit, a lot of Kenyans as well up there. So they pretty much all know each other. He says back in 2002, when Ilhan Omar got married to her real husband through the Islamic ceremony, not legal ceremony, we get to that in a minute. He says everybody was there. It was a really big deal because it was a uniting of two clans in the community. It was a really big event. It was a really big deal. Ilhan Omar and her real husband, Ahmed Hirsi, have 3 kids. I think the oldest is 16. And she is a quote unquote climate activist, but that's a different story. And I digress. My point is that they were an actual family. Enter Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi in 2009, who is a person that is alleged to be her brother. Now, before we even get into that, let's back up a little bit. Let's go all the way back to Somalia. So let's back up quite a bit, actually. Ilhan Omar is an actual refugee, a legitimate refugee, or at least she was, from Somalia. Her and her family fled to a refugee camp in Kenya where they stayed for 4 years. They were rescued by a Lutheran organization. At least some of her family was. The other part, I'm not really sure if they were rescued by the same organization, because at a certain point in time, the family got split up. I think there were like 6 people in total, the mother, father, and 4 kids. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Some of the family went to UK and they were able to keep their birth name or the birth surname, which was Noor Saeed Elmi. You following me? That was Ilhan Omar's name before she changed it to Omar, so she'd be able to come to the United States with the family that was named Omar. Okay, so her name originally was Ilhan Noor Saeed Elmi. Her brother is a guy by the name of Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi. 2009, she gets legally married, because remember, she's not legally married to the first guy, Ahmed Abdihakim Hirsi. Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi comes in, they get legally married. Now, the family friend, Abdihakim Osman, says nobody knew about this. It was not something that anybody even ever heard of until the media came out with it recently, when all these stories about her came out, when she got into Congress and she got more scrutiny on herself. That's the only time when anybody knew. But in 2002, everybody in her community knew about the wedding. Everybody was there. It was a big deal. But all of a sudden, now when you get married to this guy, nobody knows. And by the way, part of her family that was able to leave Kenya and not come to the States, they went to UK. The guy on the marriage license, if I can find that, I'll place it on the screen before you. He's listed as a British citizen. So if your family was named Noor Saeed Elmi, one of your brothers is named Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi, they go to UK. Here comes a guy from UK named Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi. Obviously, there's some problems going on. The family friend says everybody pretty much knew when that came out that she was getting married to this guy for the purposes of immigration fraud. She wanted to get him papers to come into the country to go to school, which he did. He went to school in North Dakota, which is a neighboring state to Minnesota. Okay, so we have actual evidence from a guy. Now, Ilhan Omar and the guy, Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi, her brother, most likely, were married in 2009 legally, but got divorced in 2017. Why did they get divorced? Probably because that's when she was running for office to get into Congress, which she has been able to do successfully. The whole time, her and her real husband are living together. They got kids. They're doing the whole family thing. And by the way, just for a little bit of further evidence, here's some pictures of Ahmed Elmi. Does he appear to be the kind of guy that would get married to a woman, period? Like, in general? Obviously, there's some funny business going on, but I digress. Let's get back to the whole marriage timeline. So she gets divorced from the guy that's probably her brother in 2017. Her and her actual husband get married in 2018, but then they get divorced in 2019, officially, legally. 37 days later, the husband, Ahmed Hirsi, gets married to a nurse in Somalia. Now, I don't know if the nurse was actually based in Somalia or if she was just a Somali like Ilhan Omar and Ahmed Hirsi, but they got married in Somalia. Maybe he brought her out there to avoid the media scrutiny. Who knows? Because you get divorced from your wife officially after being together for like almost 20 years, but only officially married for 1 year legally. It just seems kind of weird. Could there be some immigration fraud going on right there? I don't know, but I'll move on. Ilhan Omar has a lot of explaining to do. She responded to the whole kerfuffle that the Daily Mail put out from this guy, Abdihakim Osman, on Twitter, talking about, oh, people are retweeting fake stories. Well, where is the lie? I mean, the actual thing that can be proven is that you were married to the guy by the name of Ahmed Elmi and Ahmed Abdihakim Hirsi. That's proven. That's documents. The question is, why were you married to both of these people? Was the Islamic thing broken? Because she was still married under the Islamic tradition, as far as I know, when she got married to the guy that could be your brother for immigration purposes. So she's in some big time trouble. Let's run down some of the charges that could be crawling on her back. You have immigration fraud. If you get married to somebody for the purposes of getting them a green card or legal residence or something like that, that's called fraud. Okay, that's illegal. You can't do that. Also, incest, you get married to your brother. That's not legal either. So that's a charge right there. Then her and her actual husband, the guy she has kids with, filed a joint tax return while they were not legally married. That's also illegal. You have to be legally married to do that. So you have tax fraud, marriage fraud, incest, immigration fraud, all kind of things. Also, she allegedly had an affair with a campaign manager by the name of Beth Mine. Now, Beth Mine, the white man, was getting paid a bunch of money from Ilhan Omar's campaign to the tune of like 200 grand to do basic things like consulting and branding, just basic BS, working with a website, an amount of money that was too much for what he was actually charging for. They're seen around town, gallivanting, having dinner and whatnot. The allegation here is that she was embezzling money from her campaign through him to come back to her. Okay. It doesn't cost 200 grand to just do some things that he was doing. And he was getting a disproportionate amount of the money compared to the other vendors that she was using for her campaign. All right. Tim Mine's wife at the time, Beth Mine, came out in court and said that Ilhan Omar stole her husband from her. So you got the wife talking about it. They're out on the town, Ilhan Omar and Tim Mine just gallivanting, doing whatever they want to do. And you got a bunch of money that is given to him from her campaign. So that could be some embezzlement, some fraud right there, improper use of campaign funds. How many charges could Ilhan Omar have on her back? Quite a few. And it's weird seeing people that support her. I mean, some of the vile comments she made should be enough to not have anyone support Ilhan Omar, but also she appears to be just a stone cold stomp down crook. You know, at the best, she's just ignorant of what the law is. But I find that very hard to believe because she seems very crafty in what she's doing. You getting legally married for this purpose and that purpose, and you don't have a legal marriage for this purpose, and you getting with this guy who has money. You know, hey, she's a superstar now, right? Part of the squad with AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Presley, Pramila Jayapal as well, but that's a different story and I digress. You're a part of this whole consortium of left-wing radicals. You got to be able to travel. You got to be able to front some expenditures, and you're not necessarily a rich person. I don't know what her real husband did for a living. And her brother, I don't know what he's doing. He's pretty much just partying, living his best life. You don't really have the money to be able to afford this kind of lifestyle you want to have to become the celebrity. So you could just be funneling money through this guy for that particular purpose, even divorcing your husband to be able to do it. As I close, I want to say this. At a certain point, people like Ilhan Omar and her supporters cannot call this just a conspiracy theory or some right-wing attack job on Ilhan Omar. There's so much evidence. There are so many witnesses. There are so many documents. There are so many articles, local news, national news, international news. How much more evidence do we need to say that Ilhan Omar is most certainly a corrupt person, getting married to a brother for immigration purposes, trying to skirt the line of immigration, filing a joint tax return with someone you're not even married to, getting married to your brother as incest as well, embezzling campaign funds through a vendor that you're quote unquote in a relationship with or gallivanting around town with? This is a real big mess, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that the community leader out there in Minnesota, Abdihakim Osman, is correct when he says that Ilhan Omar got married to her brother for immigration purposes, so you able to go to school and whatnot? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or do you think this is a big conspiracy theory? It's a hoax. It's a right-wing attack job. If that's your viewpoint, let me know why. I mean, I've presented a lot of evidence, and of course, as I always do, I have links to support my evidence in the description box below. Everything is right there. It's not just one particular website. It's a lot of different websites, local, national, international. Take your pick. I got documents, I got pictures, whatever you want. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.